Hello, everyone, and welcome to the competition platform overview session. In this session, we're going to go over sort of the Mainline platform, which will be our preferred platform choice for the upcoming semester. So I'm going to go ahead and let everybody introduce themselves. We can go ahead and start with Michael.
How's it going, everybody? My name is Michael Jones. I'm the coach of the Varsity Esports program at Drury University, and I am the chair of the competition council for, 24 hours.
Congrats.
Hey, thank you.
My name is Billy Sprout. I'm director of collegiate esports at Mainline GG. I found my start in collegiate esports at the University of Connecticut, where I founded the gaming club that I believe still exists today, fingers crossed. After that, I joined TESPA and worked for them for just over 5.5 years, running the Overwatch Collegiate Championship, which I'm proudly sporting the jersey for, helping build their network of community gaming clubs, and working with a lot of awesome students and other folks, including Jake Unger, who is next to introduce himself.
Go ahead, Jake.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jake Unger, as Billy so nicely put for me. I'm the product owner over at Mainline, one of two. I similarly got my start at the University of Nevada, Reno, though, instead of Connecticut, in the video game club. I didn't found it, but I took over it and got really involved with that, and then also got involved with TESPA as a tournament admin. Ended up running the Hearthstone and StarCraft tournaments that some of you may have competed in or had kids competing in. And now I'm over at Mainline building out the product that I, for about 4 years straight, just sleep and dream about and want to make the best platform out there in this.
All right, so Jake's going to give us a demo of sort of the Mainline platform, and then we're going to open it up for Q&A. So you can go ahead and take us away, Jake.
All right, give me 1 second to share my screen. Let me just slide this over. Too big now these days. We'll just leave it here and hide. So I'm going to run through just a few examples of what formats you are accustomed to seeing, such as single elim, double elim, Swiss round robin, along with seeing multi-phase formats and just showing the general flow of what you can expect. But the big thing I want to target on that I know I've been requested to show is how what we currently call teams, which will be changing to organizations at some point in the future, to use organizations and teams and leverage them into controlling your whole group as a head coach, where you can sign everyone up in an easy way by just having them accept an invite once type deal to your team or organization, as we're going with later, and making it simple that way. So overall, when you first get to your competition, we have what we call directories here, which are able to display other directories and tournaments throughout it. You can see here, this is full custom branding for what you're able to display. This is Nebraska Huskers tournament that they went with as the university through Learfield IMG. And this is all their branding, their thing. They got sponsored by Mountain Dew, and we worked to do the customization for this. In here, you can display the games however you'd like, or link to other directories to show specific years, such as historic data, all that. But realistically, what you should be expecting is to see a tournament or another thing that tells you what tournament to go to. When you go here, and the tournament loads, you'll see, obviously, this is a completed tournament, so we'll go through and talk about what one looks like in registration later. But you'll go through here, and you can see, again, completed tournament. So you see our winners here, first, second, third already. You can see the overview of information on what's going on. Here's the general tournament description, the game being played, featured sponsor space, tournament, and this is the quick rundown of tournament information. So, our students love prizes. That's what we're here for them for at times, obviously much more in growing the space, but students love prizing. From there, you have your format, the general, like it's a single elimination best of one, or keep it simple. Rules, the requirements of what will be held. And then there is also, I'll note out here, the full rules, which we'll go to next. And then the schedule, which again, will have your information for your general schedule. So over here on full rules, this is where you'll get the really in-depth, like, well, what about this weird edge case that you can find out? And here you go, lobby creation. Here's the rules around this. Here's score submission, disconnects. All the fun, really detailed, really important rules for the competitors themselves or the coach to know or managers in that area. From here, we'll go into matches. So this is where you'll have either, if it's round robin or Swiss or anything, your bracket or standings with everything going on. You can see in here we have a single elim bracket with some nice color highlighting. This is all customizable for the colors themselves and what goes on. So you might see it differently, and you'll notice that as we switch through these other examples. I don't want to take too much time on this. I hope everyone here is pretty familiar with single elim as a whole. But as a coach looking at this, you can kind of follow through, and I'm not going to hover over that name. But Husker Power 41, you can see going through here and enjoy their flow through. You can see how far, if Husker Powers was your tournament player, you can see how far they got through, and just quickly check they got to the semifinals. And you can see that they went 1-0, and they didn't actually play one match because of a no-show. So overall, you can see very easily what's going on in here. Left, right, draggable for different screen sizes. Finally, my rosters is irrelevant to me as an admin logged in, but this is where you as a coach would be able to see all the rosters that you have signed up for this tournament. Again, currently we're using the term rosters, which one day in the future will be changing to teams to better align with everything. But for now, it's called my rosters, where you can see all the rosters and manage them. Finally, participants. This is where you get, everyone who's ready to compete in this tournament and what you can see. If you want to click and see, and see who's competing, and we'll say Wolfpack here, because shout out to UNR or Nevada, you can see who is specifically coming from that tournament and see competing for them. So overall, that's the full general tournament view, directory view, and we'll go through a quick few formats just so you're familiar with them. The other thing to note here is whenever you go into a match, I'm not clicking that match again just for that user. Always fun. In here, you'll see that these have match chats. So this is accessible to not only just the people here, so Husker Power 41 and Musaba 98, but this is also accessible to the team owner, aka the coach, the manager, whoever registered this roster. So if you are managing for your players this match, you can come here and start typing and plan this out for them. So your student doesn't have to worry about this. They only have to worry about showing up when you tell them to play and not anything else if you don't want them to. And then if there are issues, they're of course able to communicate here. Admins will be watching these chats. I know CSO and other admins are taking over for that in that area. So they'll be able to there. And then contact support is a nice easy form. There's also @support, which will ping. That's still live, so I'm not going to do that and freak out our admins right now. Then I also have other abilities because I'm an admin, so I can edit scores and things of that nature. Finally, we have Discord link up here. So if a Discord is linked for the tournament, you'll be able to just click this and it will take you off to Discord to join. So with that, I'm going to move on to the next few little tournaments, just showing you quickly the different setups you can expect to see. If there's any questions, please let me know during this time, JJ, if there's anything specific you've seen or something like that.
Yes, sir.
I have to say also, this is my first time giving a presentation, more a panel presentation, so it's weird not hearing feedback right away all the time.
Yeah, I'm going to save all the questions till after your demonstration, and we can go back and address specific ones.
Sounds good. So I'll keep all the tabs up with everything going on.
You're doing great.
So here we go for the Big 12. This was, of course, Big 12 conference. They ran 10 individual tournaments because, of course, they have 10 schools in the Big 12 as always. You can see here all the general information. Again, this is a directory view where you will find your tournament whatever way it does get set up. In the end, I can't tell you. But in the end, you can just look through here to find what you need. And I would just, again, to show the difference in what you'll expect to see, each one is very tailored and colored to the tournament that it is in. So it helps, recognition on that level. Again, all these are single elim. All of these are the same outline you'll be seeing and know what's going on. But from there, you get your championship. So nothing too much to show here in that area. That will depend how it's all set up. Oh, this is another tab. So is this single elim or double elim? All right, here we go. So I wanted to show off double elim real quick. So this was for Cheez-It Grooves with Level Next, their College Esports Invitational. Again, you can see prizes much more built out. Again, they use the red color, so you'll see that as a predominant color just for what they used. Go into matches here. For a bracket view, again, you have this top part. Very straightforward, very just kind of this. But if you have a student who loses, who goes to the lower bracket, you can easily hide the upper bracket and just view these live update as well. So you can just wait on this page and it will update with information as people play through. One thing that's nice to show, hopefully we'll be able to find someone we can do. You'll see that a cross bracket highlighting does work, so you can follow them easily and just kind of see what's going on. Obviously, if the bracket's too big, you'll have some problems there. But that's all good because it's double elim and you know where people are going and what's happening. Lower bracket here, not going to go into much more detail here with everything, but you have the final users who end up, of course, with the grand finals and the optional grand final reset based on the tournament rules. So now we get into MAC. Then for this one, we'll show you kind of, again, just a larger overall directory of what you're setting up with everything. But what we want to get into is Round Robin, which I think a lot of you will be seeing this fall. I believe it's Rocket League or Collegiate Fall League. And I'm going to be coming back to this for Marist, actually. Marist. So this is Round Robin. When this is live, you won't default to the standing page. When you click on matches, it will take you to the active round. But for this tournament right now, since it, again, is completed, you'll see just as you click through, default to standings. But otherwise, let's say round 3 was active, you would default to round 3. All of these rounds are generated the second the tournament's ready, so you can go ahead and see what's going on, who you'll be playing on what week, what date, everything like that. Otherwise, there's not much else to add here. It's round robin. Everyone knows how that works at this point of you got to play everyone. You'll have as many rounds as entrants. Straightforward in that sense with the fun that gets going on with this. And it's nice you can see when it's finalized, when it's completed. I don't think I need this anymore because, yeah, this is just round robin again. And the final one we'll get to is Swiss, which I don't believe will be shown as much, so we'll pull that up again. Swiss over here, of course, for those who have competed in TESPA before, knows the love of Swiss, and also a two-phase tournament here. So Swiss, very similar to round robin, but rounds aren't generated as you go, just showing on what's happening. But the important thing here that, because the rest of this is similar to round robin, you can just scroll through, find your match where it is, and go ahead and mark it up, is multi-phase. And this will be used more likely for league competition with what's going on. You'll have your phase 1 Swiss, and then you can just click up here to phase 2 single elimination for whoever makes it through in the top 8. In this tournament, you can see here we have our third place match going on because first place only knows first and second unless you have this match. And depending on the tournament rules, that's again up to them. With all that said, what I actually want to really cover for everyone, and I think is the value that people care about now at this point, is cycling back to Chick-fil-A's participants, is the registration ability of setting up and inviting people to your team and then just being able to click the register button. I will pull up that in a bit of what a register button looks like. I just completely potatoed and forgot that was needed at the moment. So with this, what you'll see here is this team, Blue Hawks, is called Rock Hill High School Blue Hawks. They have created this with their RHHS Blue Hawks account that is owned by a school admin here. And in it, they invited all the players that were going to compete in just this one specific tournament, but it could be many more. And what you'll see in here is that they went ahead and submitted 3 different rosters to compete. So you have RHHS Blue Hawks, their main roster. It's Apex, Snowzilla, Apache. You have their second roster, which is, I'm not even going to attempt that one, but One Hitch Christo, Hoping Ocean. And then you'll have the third one, which is down here, which are these 4 people. And all this was done through them accepting a team invite, which was sent by the coach to them. They checked their email inbox, got a link, and said, hey, set this all up for me, which was just going through account creation, which I'll show real quick, in addition to the registration. The other big powerful thing about this is that you can, and what's awesome, not just limit this to one team. So right here we have Marist Esports, and I apologize if I'm butchering that pronunciation. But here we have a lot of people, and I'm only going to show two tournaments here. But with them, this Julie Byron set up her whole coaching and roster management here on this. And again, user audit logins for admins, you won't have that. But you can go ahead and see that they not just submitted them for one tournament, but for multiple tournaments. So you see Cypher, Tone 55, and Z-Ball here. That's only 3 of the 20 competitors on this team. And yet in this Smash Bros tournament, which is obviously a single one, they have Zucchini Ninja or whatever, Ninja. And there's more tournaments of this where Marist Esports just submitted one thing. And the nice thing is you're able to customize branding per each one of these rosters you submit. So if you want, a very common thing, of course, is to do main colors. So Nevada having blue and silver as the main colors would have Nevada blue and Nevada silver. We would be able to, if I was the coach in this case, invite everyone to the roster or to the team, and then go to the tournament, apply it, create NV, call it the Nevada Esports team, and then go in here and register it as Nevada Blue, and then register it again in here as Nevada Silver. And I can change the branding and such with the name, with the colors, with the image to make it fit what is needed. With that said, give me one moment as I pull up a registration tournament. Takes one moment.
While he's doing that, I want to clarify here that when that RHHS account made those teams, are they still getting notifications? Can they still submit match results, etc., for that team those teams that they created?
Yes.
Okay.
You won't get match notifications, but you will get notifications for setting up and reminders to complete the tournament. And the second part of your question as well. I forgot that last one.
Okay.
I apologize. I have to go into our QA environment to find one that I just have open and ready to go.
Not a lot of tournaments ongoing right now due to...
Who would believe that? So here we go as our final just registration demo. I'm going to open this link as another user so you can see kind of the flow that you would expect that would go on here. So this is our QA environment, so things will be a bit different. Things are changing always that we're working towards. So we're even working to improve our registration flow to make it even easier and faster and more powerful for coaches and users themselves. But as this, Gamer78 here, you can see they have multiple registered rosters, one registered, one unregistered. You can see what's going on. And their flow for what would happen here is I can click sign up now. 78 only has one dollar. Which owner is this? 78 or 22? Yeah, 22. They can go in here. You can see my rosters. You can see that they have these people who have registered for this and not registered. And as the coach, I can go in here and edit and control what's happening with these people. So I can add gamer 9079 and save that or register them if need be. I think 78 is already registered for another thing, so you'll get this error saying, I'm already registered. But I can sub them out, swap in 22, and just register them like that. Oh my God, how many people did I sign up? This is the problem when I do QA stuff. I forget which accounts I've used for what. I've registered a bunch of people for this tournament already, so you can see they're all here. But ignoring that fact that I just blocked myself from registering because they're already all registered under different rosters here, like Gamer72, you'd be able to just register them like that. Just swap them in and go through this flow and click, sign up now, use this team, edit any branding if you need to, change it from what it is, and then go ahead and just, bam, right there, registered, you're ready to go. So that's it on the platform for what's going on there. Are there any questions, I guess, at this point that I can show or take specifically?
So there are a handful of questions. I know that Billy has been on top of them.
There's a couple that stood out, though, as being too technical for me.
Do you know which ones they were? I'm trying to figure out which ones you answered already.
No, I got one. This one's from Sean Byrne, esports director at St. Clair College. Pretty cool guy. He has an outdoor land center at his college. Very cool. Can you have a program/organization owned by a director with teams co-owned by the director and the specific coaches for those teams? So the question is basically, can you have two team owners on a roster, or can you assign different team owners from a team to a specific roster? So you would have, for example, the League of Legends coach be the team owner for the League of Legends roster for St. Clair?
Yeah. So right now it is limited with the focus on the team owner is the active person handling that and will be the one who sees and does everything. So our envision was right now, usually our understanding from when we worked on this was that a lot of these schools have generic director accounts in a sense of, Julie Byron here signed up, but if you notice on the previous one we saw for the high school, it was RHHS High School. So we worked with that understanding and assumption. However, we realized, that's not always the case. And so to improve on that, we are working towards making it so not only is the team owner the only one there, you can specifically assign, so let's say 2 scouts is the person we want to see in the tournament. You are, as the coach for the League of Legends teams, you could assign 2 scouts as the coach specifically or the manager as that on that roster instead of just having them here. And also for teams, we are keeping one team owner, so whoever would be the highest person with power on that, because they would have the power to delete something like this, and limiting it to a officer is the term we'd have. So you could have your, RHHS director as that, or Julie Byron, who's your director, and then 2 scouts as a coach or team officer. I hope that answers your question well.
I think it does. The one thing I think that we don't have functionality for is to have, like you mentioned, there's one team owner. So the esports director in Sean's case would not be on the team itself, or the roster itself. But the coach that they added as the team owner would have access to their roster.
Yeah, that's correct.
Can you add different? So what you can do there is just have all your coaches join and I'm going to join your like main team, and then you would assign an individual coach, like the League of Legends coach, to their specific roster when you're signing up for a tournament. Does that make sense?
And I'd also say, if you do, Sean, you have 7 coaches. You said you would be able to have 7 teams for right now, and then merge them in together later once we add more functionality around it too. We are working to make sure it's not just, well, we built it this way, so we have to keep it this way. It's making it so we understood we may have missed the step there, but we're going to make sure that it's all caught up and it was a dance of this whole time. That was our plan, you know? It's esports is ever changing, and so not being retro. I'm blanking. What's the term when video game systems work for the previous one? Like
backwards compatible.
Backwards compatible. Oh my God. Thank you. Can't believe I forgot that. Make sure everything is backwards compatible that we do, and not end up where you did it one way, so you're just kind of stuck in that path. We want to make sure you have the tools and the best needs for you.
Yeah, and if I could jump in for just a moment to kind of speak to why we're so excited from the NACE perspective to work with Mainline. This last year we used another platform, which I personally still maintain is a very good and useful platform, just not for our particular needs. And in all of our talks with Mainline so far, they've been very receptive and very willing to listen to our feedback and help us implement the functionality that we need that, to be honest, not really many other groups in esports or even collegiate esports need. We need much more advanced functionality that gives a lot of power to you, the head coach or director, that allows you to manage a large group. So as they talked about this kind of organization and team model, simplifying the registration process, these are all things that came from a big list of priorities that the Competition Council put together after the end of the last season, when we kind of did a postmortem and went, we need a better tool for this. We can't go through this again. This shouldn't be this hard. And I think Mainline is setting us up with a tool that will, worst case scenario, get us 80-90% of the way there this fall, and then they'll continue to work with us and listen to feedback and make whatever additional changes we need. But yeah, I'm pretty confident that this should meet most of our requirements. That said, please continue to give feedback both in this session right here if you have any questions, and then especially as we start the fall and go through registration in the first few weeks of competition. Feel free to post in the Discord server, talk to anyone on the Competition Council, send us your feedback for the things you need, for the things that are maybe unclear, and then also even just kind of the things you want, because we're looking to add a lot of additional features and complexity to our competitions overall. So there might be stuff that we want to put on the roadmap for a year or two from now, right? We talked yesterday about statistical services or something. Is that a problem that Mainline can solve for us tomorrow? No, but it's something that we could work together on potentially as we continue building all of this together. And that's kind of the thesis of my point here, is that I think we found a really good partner that sees the same vision and end game as us.
So we're going to go through some of the questions that are already answered in chat just for clarity's sake. So Cordell Ballard asks, are we going to need to make a Mainline account for the upcoming season?
Yes. If you want to join or manage a roster or team, you will need to make a Mainline account. The tricky part of our platform is we're very specialized to offer white label tournament sites. So they're... Oh, Jake's gone. So they are pretty the individual sites or individual directories for a multi-school or like a multi-program event are separate from each other. But you once you make an account on Mainline, that account can be used across any of those tournaments. So even if CSL makes multiple directories, welcome back, Jake, for their events throughout this fall or the spring, that Mainline account will allow you to join or create rosters for any tournament. And I believe you can take a roster and bring it to any tournament as well, regardless of where you created it from. So there's like a central pillar of user accounts and team structures. And then you can take that structure and apply it to any of the individual white labeled tournaments that we spin up. A lot of those tournaments actually connect to each other as well. Go ahead.
Just to clarify one point, you're mixing up where we're going with some of that. We have a lot of the team structure there. We don't have where you can set up your roster ahead of time and just assign that one yet from it. So once they're on your team, you're good to go anywhere. I know we've talked about that quite a lot for that, and that's probably why you thought we had it now. But that's one of the next things we want to work towards.
So, are we able to manage multiple titles and teams with Mainline from one account?
Yes. In terms of setting it up, you can set it up and invite everyone to your team that you set up, and then go ahead and assign them to it. If you mean one account for like every competitor, that I would say I think it depends on your tournament rules and structure.
Will one account, the program's account, be able to sign up multiple teams, and would the team captain be the one that be that one account, or would a player be assigned to a team captain role?
A player would be assigned to the team captain role. You'd be more than able to do that. But if you would prefer that for your main reason that you have the team captain as that, you could. Again.
So, Cordell Ballard, does Mainline have an FAQ or tutorial videos, documents for when we all forget what we were told here today?
Yeah, I believe Curtis from CSL answered that in chat. They'll be providing documentation of that sort in the coming weeks or months. And I believe there will be a CSL representatives in the NACE Discord to answer questions as we approach the main season. Is that correct, Curtis? Great. Awesome.
How is the customer support side of everything? Will there be a specific individual that we need to contact if we had any issues? Are there multiple ways to contact them?
So Mainline won't be doing direct customer support for this league. CSL will be operating that.
It's a combination of NACE and CSL admins and the competition council.
Okay, great.
How in depth are the results and stats shown on the website? Will it just show win-loss, or will there be a breakdown of game scores for Rocket League or Valorant, for example?
So the system does show game scores if that's enabled by the tournament, which I assume these will be. You are able to, I didn't show this, but report the score so we obviously have the match level thing, but when you go into the match, you'll be able to see the games independently and see each game score if reported. So you'll be able to see that it was a 3-0 victory for, University of Nevada, Reno over University of Connecticut. Go for that.
Do the players need to use their school email account to sign up?
I would, yes, if it is required that you have a validation for the tournament.
By validation, we mean individual tournaments can be configured individually to require a specific type of email extension, relatively similar to the system we use for Test But Compete. However, it's modular and we can turn it on or off or specialize it for individual tournaments. Because NACE is so specialized and focused on the varsity ecosystem, I don't think we'll need that.
But I think we will actually be enabling that. It looks like.
Awesome. Yeah, it is a really useful. In the chat. Okay, great. It is a really useful initial filter. And so, if you guys do plan to use it, then yes, students should use their student email accounts when they're creating their Mainline account.
Joey asked the question, are we able to change rosters during the season, or is that a question for the session later? Joey, could you clarify your question? I'm not sure that I understand it.
Hi, Joey. Big fan.
I don't want to put words in Joey's mouth. I think he's asking if this is probably more like a competition rules question, like is there a roster lock? Can you change rosters, and if so, how much and how often? Are rosters locked during the season? Yeah.
There's some roster lock rules that we put in. I can go over that in the next session.
I will say that our platform does support, from an admin side, changing of users if that comes up, such as outstanding circumstances and things.
Nick Thorpe asked, on the subject of stats, and I'm assuming this is in regards to Smash, will it be possible to include character and stage data for individual sets?
Currently, that is not supported. It's just
I actually have a question, and this kind of relates to that. It would be kind of a stopgap solution for that or any other piece of data that we want. For the match pages or score reporting, can we add in just a text box or a drop down or something and customize what options you might be able to put in? Or is that a way we could go?
I believe that's a possibility we can look into. I don't want to just promise this year because I can't speak for everyone, unfortunately. I would love to be able to do that. It would make life much simpler at times. But unfortunately, I will gladly run that by and see if we can add that as possibly in addition, not just one or the other two, of course.
Cool.
We have seen other Smash tournaments we've run previously use the match chat as kind of a record of, like a more verbose record of what happened in the actual games, and then just report the actual game score through the platform.
So Nick Thorpe is asking about how a waterfall bracket could be implemented on the platform. Is it possible?
By waterfall, do you mean like cascading buys?
So my understanding is a waterfall bracket is a system that was sort of developed for N64 Smash, but I could be wrong with that statement.
Is that waterfall where... Billy, it seems you're correct. Or is that correct?
It's an N64 Smash bracket system that I've never personally used.
Like, first gets 3+ buys, right? And they don't have to play for the first 3 rounds type deal. Is that correct? While we wait for that, I'm going to look.
Long story short, unless it's a sub format of the 3 we demoed already, I don't think we have it currently. But we are in particular hyper focused on trying to find better ways to support the Smash community. So we could have it in the future. It's just not something we have currently. And we did do a pretty deep dive with NACE to make sure the formats that they were planning were compatible with like the functionality of our platform. So everything NACE here. Oh, Jean just got outraced.
I'm looking at this, and I don't think this is something.
I mean, it's just a multi-stage tournament essentially, right? So if we can do pools, if we can do groups, and we can do brackets, then I don't know why we would be able to do something like this. But at the moment, we have no plans to use a waterfall bracket format in any kind of Smash tournament that we do.
Yeah, I was about to say what you were saying, JJ. If it's just making use of, sorry, Michael, apologies. JJ's just been talking
no worries.
Questions lately. This is just breaking it up based on rank and everything, so they get the match most value for competition. We could support that.
Are there any questions in chat that I missed? If I did, go ahead and repost them. But I think I got all of them.
There's a question from Cordell Ballard. Who do we get to @spam for?
Michael Jones.
Perfect for customer support questions. Thanks.
I'll throw this out there, and I'm sure this will be regrettable by me, but if you would, because this product does mean a lot to me, not just as a we can make money or things, but this is something, again, I sleep and dream about way too often. If you have questions, want to understand where we're going, what our direction is, what our ideas are, please feel free to reach out to me. My email is literally my name, junger@mainline.gg, or hit me up on LinkedIn. I'm sure that will be regrettable, of course. I'm slow to respond on both at times, but I will set up time and we can chat. You can throw your ideas there, and I love to hear what the community has to come up with, because there's so many things that started off as, this is the dumbest thing, why would anyone want to do that? And then it becomes the new standard and competition and everything going on. So please feel free to reach out to me and let me know. I will gladly take the time to hear you out and explain where we're going, what I'm allowed to explain.
Yeah, we are fully invested in this partnership, but of course CSL will handle most of the direct customer support, and tournament operations.
Yeah, so Brooks just answered that in chat, and that's the correct answer. We do have a full team of TOs staffed by NACE and CSL for customer support related to competition, and all of that's under the oversight of the Competition Council. So make sure you guys vote on Friday for your CC members.
Yeah, so to clarify, I'm just the platform if you have ideas for it, not your, hey, this person cheated and I don't like the ruling on that.
Yeah, that's me. Do we have any other questions in chat?
I have a question for you two.
Okay.
Swiss or round robin?
Round robin.
It's a trick question because they're the same format. Swiss is just less steps.
Swiss is more steps.
Gotcha.
By the way, Michael, you were muted there. I think you're muted.
You caught me on a technicality. I don't like that. But to that point,
said that.
To that point, the varsity division will be. Now you're confusing me. Will be round robin. So you'll be assigned to a group, and that is. If you were in kind of the talk yesterday about how the CC functions and sort of what our goals were 2 years ago when we all got elected, round robin allows for us to do advanced scheduling of rather knowing your opponents in advance. We already have a consistent match day schedule, so you know what days you will be playing, but we also want you to be able to know who your opponents are. I believe for some of the lower divisions, yeah, Michael Brooks is saying this in chat now, for Challenger and Open division, we'll use Swiss. Just because who knows how many teams we'll end up with, and I think those divisions will have a much wider floor and ceiling. So that will allow for higher quality matches. And we'll talk more about this later today. I could go way off into the weeds on how things are and why, but turning it back to the platform, are there any other questions from our viewers here about the platform, about how it functions? I just wanted to also throw out there another reason that we're excited to work with Mainline is, I don't know if I'm gesturing correctly, if he's to this side on everyone else's screen as well. But it's really exciting to work with Billy with all of his experience from TESPA, to work with an organization that has a depth of knowledge in collegiate esports and an understanding of its history. Because really we're all just trying to make this better. Is it going to be perfect this year? No. Is it going to be better than it was last year? Yes. Was last year better than the year prior? Yes. So we're climbing this ladder together, and to have so many people with so much expertise, I mean, that alone swayed me on I think why Mainline was an excellent choice. But I will stop tooting the horn.
I can chime in there. Yes, I agree. It's an honor to work with me. Just kidding. We're incredibly excited to work with NACE as well. I'm kind of a joker on Twitter and stuff about governance and governing bodies and all sorts of stuff, but that's mostly just to parody the incredible work and hopefully not too deeply denigrate the incredible work that y'all are doing to connect the space together and really jumpstart the varsity conversation at so many schools. I think it was 2016, outside of one PAX or another, Michael Brooks came up to me and was like, "Hey, we're working on this thing called NACE. Can I tell you more about it?" And I was like, "Oh, another acronym." But over the years, y'all have obviously changed a lot, obviously grown a lot, obviously expanded a lot, so many different schools from so many different walks of life in your ranks. And it's been a privilege to watch it grow. And we can't wait to, honestly, we're really privileged again to contribute to that growth this year as we start taking huge steps in a really awesome and exciting direction.
I really appreciate that. Yeah. I do love your occasional Twitter banter of, this is the official thing for collegiate esports for insert topic here. But to that point, I mean, it is fun to joke and get into some discourse on Twitter. But at the end of the day, I don't.
Sorry. It's one thing to say you're governing. It's another thing entirely, and a very complicated other thing entirely to actually govern. And that's what y'all are doing. You're providing the structure. Oh yeah, you're providing the structure that the schools need, and that's what governance is.
And to that point, what I was going to say is that I don't think it has ever been NACE's goal to pronounce ourselves governors of everyone.
Yeah.
Whenever this conversation comes up, is like, is NACE a governing body or not? It's like, well, it's self-governance. We're a membership association. So we agree to work together to come up with these structures and rules. So it doesn't just automatically apply to schools or partners that aren't affiliated with us. Of course it doesn't. So we hope to provide more structure and guidance and kind of a framework for all of varsity esports, but we're not trying to do that by force. We can only do it if everyone is involved, and all the strides we've made in the last 2 years are directly because 30 some odd individuals at country or at institutions across the country stepped up to volunteer their time. And only more and more people are doing that. So if you want to see this grow, if you have strong opinions about how college esports should be, whether it's big picture or just we need this specific function on our competition platform, speak up. This is, I think, one of the only types of organizations in collegiate esports where you can have that level of direct feedback. And part of that is because you pay for it. You pay dues to be a member of this organization. And if you don't like the way we're going, then tell us, because I think we only want to steer the ship in the direction you want us to. So, not to beat a horse to death, but give us more of your feedback, please.
DM Michael Jones directly with your feedback, like right now.
Yeah, please.
Can NACE members use Mainline for their own independent tournaments?
Well, that's a good question.
That is a great question. So we do offer either specifically platform services, and you can use your own admins, or we do offer like full soup to nuts, white glove tournament operations on our platform. I can put an email in chat. A great example of something that we've done in the past is we're working with a lot of Learfield schools to run intramural tournaments at specific campuses. And we've seen a lot of schools that don't have a lot of signups. Intramurals are still a very new space. We're still trying to figure out how to market it. And we're still trying to figure out what the students actually want. But we've also seen schools with hundreds and hundreds of students all signing up and all playing together online because they can't play in person right now. So if you guys would like to inquire about running one of those yourself, or if you would have an athletic conference or another group of folks that want to run something, you can reach out to Sky and me.
Just as a reminder, coming up next, we do have a Meet the Candidates session where you're going to get to meet the candidates that are running for the open board of directors and competition council seats. You'll be able to ask them questions. They'll be able to talk a little bit about themselves. That starts at 2 o'clock Central, so that's in about 15 minutes.
I'm not biased or anything, but I like Michael so far.
You can't have me. He's my competition council chair.
Release me.
No, you don't get to
Release
go
me
anywhere.
from this burden.
No.
It's a
So, seeing no other questions, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up a few minutes early, just to give you guys time to get ready for the next session. Again, we are doing a Meet the Candidates session in about 15 minutes, and you'll get to meet the candidates. I think I'll get to sit there and talk to Jones a bit for another hour. He doesn't look happy about that.
Laughs nervously.
All right, thanks for all the speakers for coming out and talking to us today, and thanks for all the members for coming out to learn about what we plan on doing in the fall. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I hope to see you again in about 15 minutes.
Thank you all very much.
Bye, everyone. Best